Good morning, all our viewers. Today we have this practical training module on the topic TDS. TDS, all we understand, is now part of direct taxes and gaining very much importance because the entire collection of the government is now coming through this TDS. Earlier it was through advanced taxes. Now government is taking care that sufficient amount of tax has been deducted from the income. So it will getting deposited in due time. And the responsibility of the person who is giving this income. For this particular Paytm, that's a practical training module, we have invited Central Council member to address all of us as a special invitee to this program. We have speaker Vikas Jain and Ankit Jain. Both will going to take this session. And now I am requesting our Vice Chairman, Sridhar Mopala, who is with me here only, to say a few words and invite the Ranjit Agarwal.
Yeah. A very good morning, dear students. Good morning to our today's guest, our senior council colleague, Ranjit Agarwal, sir, and the today's session moderator and speakers, Ankit and Vikas, and also the entire team of BOS who has been taking this responsibility continuously for the 27th week today. And today's topic of the practical training module, all of you know, it's a TDS filing. So I won't talk much on the topic because both the expert speakers, I know to the extent what they'll take it to the students. But I would like today the students that the response what we got for PTM is really encouraging for us. In fact, the numbers are really so this thing that almost 10,000 students are attending live. I request all the students to kindly put a word to all your friends and close circle. On every Sunday from 10:30 to 1:30, we have these sessions. So students can ask their queries, anything on the chat box and message box. Faculties over here, within the time, they'll try to respond. In case, if any of the queries are not addressed within 1:30, they'll get back through mail to all the students. So I request all the students to make sure that in addition to your theoretical and practical knowledge, you should also have the knowledge of all the websites, because today everything is a webinar and a web-based filing. So hands-on knowledge should be there. And students are immensely benefited also out of the last 26 weeks training. And I'm expecting the same too. So today with us, we have our guest, Mr. Ranjit Agarwal, who is a Central Council member from Eastern region. So probably, if at all I have to tell him, I have to add UDIN in front of him, because under whose chairmanship in PDC, the UDIN was introduced. And not only that, now they are going to spread that UDIN concept, which has brought a revolutionary change in ICI to all the SAARC countries. And he is the member, Central Council member for the third time. He was there on the 23rd, 24th and 25th Council, and his huge experience and his participation in UDIN, PDC, Ethical Standard Board will be an added knowledge to the student. So I request Ranjit Agarwal to kindly have few words with our students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sridhar, Vice Chairman of this board. Very respected our colleague Sushil Goyal, Chairman of this board. Two very eminent speakers, Vikas Jain and Ankit Jalan, and all the future chartered accountant, young CA students. Good morning to all of you in this Sunday morning. First of all, my compliment goes to Chairman and Vice Chairman of this board for taking this very unique concept of practical training model for the practicing article training so that they can get the practical tips how to do the conduct the audit while discharging their articleship training period. Friends, today the topic is very relevant as a TDS, and there is a survey by the government also that out of the total collection of direct tax, it's almost 20 lakh crore in a year. 92% of this amount comes from TDS and advanced tax. Only 8% tax is the self-assessment tax. This is the data released by the government. So you can understand how TDS is important. And considering this important aspect of TDS, I am the chairman of the Tax Audit Quality Review Board also. And we have released a checklist on the tax audit in which all the provisions of this TDS aspects, we have given a detail. And if you go through that checklist, and if you can complete and fill up this checklist, then the 90% of tax audit will be completed. Only 10% overview has to be done by the partners. As you have seen, the various chapters in our Income Tax Act and rules are there. If you talk about the Chapter 3, Chapter 6A, talk about 17B, 17BB, all the chapters talks about how to deduct the taxation amount with the various rates prescribed by the income tax rule on the various expenditure or payment made by the SSC. And there are various chapters also where the TCS aspects also there, where you have to deduct the amount while receiving the payment or making the payment. If you talk about the any amount paid outside India, whether interest or a royalty or a technical services, then you have to deduct the TDS. The rates are there. If you are not able to deduct the TDS, then that amount may be inadmissible. The amount may be disallowed while computing the taxes. So how this TDS is important, the taxation TDS deduction is important. This is the one part. Short deduction or non-deduction is a serious irregularity. And short deduction or non-deduction, and even if deducted, not paying to the exchequer is the third various element of serious irregularity. So you as a student, you should know what are the various sections where TDS deduction is mandatory, what are the rates, various rates prescribed for deduction, what will happen if no deduction was made, amount is disallowed, what will happen short deduction and short payment, and whether you have match all these things with the TDS return, Form 26Q, various returns are there, books of account. So this correlation with the deduction and the books of account matching concept, you have to carry it out. Just by arbitrarily, you can say it is deducted or not deducted. So evidence has to be there while doing the audit of the client of tax audit of TDS. And there are, you will find while doing a big audit of taxation, where huge number of amounts are there. The number are huge, where you can verify each and every item. So in that case, the guidance note of tax audit prescribed of our institute that in that case, management representation letter you have to obtain that all the payment, wherever TDS is required to be deducted, has been deducted, and it has to be paid to the respective form and to the exchequer. So there are various elements in the TDS aspect. It is not a small thing, it's a huge. And when you talk about the audit of taxation amount as a true and fair, this is the only area where we talk about true and correct. Because when you write an audit report, 3CA or 3CB, you have to write not true and fair, you have to write true and correct. So true and correct means 100% verification. And if the 100% verification you are not able to do, you have to take a letter from the management as a MR. So these are the various guidance given in our guidance note. We have a checklist of the tax audit quality review board prescribed by this checklist, and the various form you might be aware, 26A, 16A, 15CA, 15CB, so many sections are there. All these things you have to be thoroughly go through while discharging your duty as a article color of doing the tax audit of your client. I hope we have the expert who will tell you in detail, the minute detail of various facets of this taxation aspect of TDS. I wish all of you a very, very happy learning, and I thank and compliment a chairman and vice chairman of this board for giving me opportunity to share some of the thoughts of taxation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ranjit Bhai. Thanks for taking out your time. And dear student, let me share. Then the council has decided to start this PTM. We were checking who is the one who has proposed. It is a Ranjit Bhai whose idea was to train the students on the practical module, and it is his idea which the council has approved and students are enjoying today. Thank you, Ranjit sir, for always giving such innovative ideas, being helpful to the student. Thanks for taking out your time for today. So thanks a lot. So now I request Vidhi to kindly introduce the moderator and the speakers for the day.
Thank you, sir. I'll introduce C. Ankit Jalanji. He is a practicing chartered accountant with an experience of 10 years as a member of the institute. He's also a certified information system auditor and holding a diploma and a certificate course or concurrent audit of bank. He's currently working as a managing partner at Ankit Jalana and Company a chartered accountancy firm with its head office at Guwahati, Assam. He is proactive in the field of information technology and trains the students on the Excel. He is associated with the institute with the different committees as a co-opted member for Committee on Information Technology of Eastern India Regional Council and the Digital Transformation and Process Reengineering Committee of EIRC. He did his Excel in the information technology and associated with where the club tends to contribute to a society in which they exist. He is an active member in the last 5 years at the Junior Chamber International, whereas a club he was working as imparting skills to the unprivileged and needy students. He's a certified zone trainer of JCI India. Over to you, sir. Ankit ji.
Thank you, Vidhi ji. A very good morning to all my dear students. Respected CA Sushil Goyal sir, Chairman SSCB, CA Sridhar Mupala sir, Vice Chairman SSCB, other senior members, and all other dignitaries. I thank ICI and especially SSCB for having me as the moderator for this session. The topic which has been shared with you all today is practical approach to TDS filing. When it comes to TDS, there are conflicting views for various transactions, be it for rate or for applicability. There are various technical glitches in terms of filing of returns as well. Today, we have an avid speaker amongst us who has a long proficiency in TDS matters and is also his core area of practice, who will guide us in troubleshooting all such conflicting views and make TDS compliance hassle-free. While I take the joy of making that introduction in a short while, let me outline the topics we are going to cover today. So the idea for today is to cover following topics which CA Vikas Jain sir will be taking up. He will be speaking on levy or applicability of TDS, payment, the due dates and the modes of payment, how to file TDS returns, refunds, and also penalties and prosecutions with related to late filing, non-filing, and all sort of such things. So this is what we have outlined for the today for the given amount of time which we have. TDS is presumptive taxation, where the intent of the statute is to accelerate tax collections while also broadening the tax net at the same time. TDS provisions require SECs to prepay the taxes during the previous year itself and not at the time of assessment. Very rightly, just now, Ranjit sir, the keynote speaker, has addressed that more than only 8% of taxes are collected through assessments. So the other 92% has a great share in which TDS contributes to a great extent. While our speaker will share his abundance of knowledge with you all, I'll take time to hear him along with you. And as in when you have queries for the same, please put it in the designated box. We'll take the same and it will be addressed. Now, it is time I present his brief profile and achievements for you. CA Vikas Jain is a native of Tinsukia, Assam. He is a commerce graduate holding professional qualifications as a chartered accountant and as a company secretary. He is into the practice of chartered accountancy for 17 long years now. He has served as the chairman of Guwahati branch of ICI for the term 15-16. He has also served as the chairman of Northeast chapter of Company Secretaries of India, Guwahati chapter in the year 2019. He has also served as the treasurer of Guwahati chapter of Institute of Internal Auditors in the year 2021. He is a member of various other professional forums like Tax Bar Association, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Institute of Internal Auditors, only to name a few. He is also a mentor to my club, my social club, JCI Guwahati Hunar. That is a chapter under Junior Chambers International under Zone 25. He is a prolific speaker on income tax, especially on the subject matter of TDS. He has addressed various seminars for the branch of Guwahati branch, Northeast chapter of ICSI, Tax Bar Association, income tax departments, and in and around Guwahati. So he has a special interest in student activities, and I believe all the students today who are going to listen to him will be enjoying his session as much as we do while we listen to him on various branch activities. I present my best wishes to CA Vikas Jain sir for his presentation and also hand over him the session and request him to kindly start his deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ankit. Chairman, Board of Studies Operations, Sushil Ji Goyal. Vice Chairman, Sridhar Ji. Central Council Member, Ranjit Agarwal. Team BOS Operations, Vidhi Ji, Alok Ji, and all my dear students. A very good morning to all of you. I'm thankful to be part of this initiative by SSEB BOS Operation. Today's our topic is practical approach to TDS. So let me first share my PPT also, so that side by we can run that also. Today, I'm going to brief you about the important points to be taken into considerations while filing your TDS TCS return. Dear student, TDS is never a tedious work, rather than it's a simple process. TDS stands for tax deducted at source, and TCS stands for tax collected at source. It was introduced to collect tax at the very source of income. The government uses TDS as a tool to collect tax in order to minimize tax evasions by taxing the income. TDS TCS leaves a trail of transactions so that it can be used further. Normally, as we all know, it is not applicable to all incomes and persons for all the transactions. But there are different rates has been prescribed by the Income Tax Act 1961 for different payments and different categories of recipients. For example, if we can see payment of redemptions procedures, proceeds of a debt mutual fund to a resident individual is not subject to TDS, but for a non-resident, it is subject to TDS. So the most important point for TDS is deducted at the source of generation of income. There are two parties to it in a TDS. One is deductor, one is deductee. The person who is making the payment is responsible for deducting the tax and depositing the same with the government. The person is called as deductor. On the other hand, the person who receives the payment after the tax deduction is called deductee. TDS is applicable for various payments like salary, interest, commission, brokerage, and others. We will discuss today in this presentations. We are mainly focused on TDS filing and what are the important points which you should keep in your mind while filing your TDS returns. So we are not covering the sections and other things. There are some more interesting facts in TDS, like it introduced in the 1963. It is also a kind of advanced tax. As Ranjit sir already told all of you that 92% of tax is from advanced tax and TDS is also a part of advanced tax only. And the principle for TDS is pay as and when you earn. So it is always taxed at the source of the income. What are the responsibility of a deductor? The responsibility of a deductor is always that he should deduct the TDS at a prescribed rate, and he should deposit it within the due date, within the due time. He must file his returns on time. There are time limits are there for filing TDS returns. And the most important part that now they all have to issue certificates from the TRESS website, which is we will take all those in our presentations today. So normally today what we are covering TDS ecosystem, informations on PAN and TAN structures, how to e-verify, role of challan for government and non-government deductors, several forms in TDS systems, due dates for filing TDS systems, interest and penalties in TDS system, filing of TDS return, what are the prerequisites for filing salary returns, and at the end, I will showcase you how you can prepare a TDS return. That's a 24Q. Practically, I will show you, all of you, that how you can file a TDS salary return. So this is all about our today's topic. So the first part, always, what is the concept of TDS? Normally, this is a very old presentation. This all we all know that there is always a deductor who deduct from the payments. He deposits into the bank the taxes, and the benefit goes to the taxpayer. And how he will see through his 26 years, or now AIS and TIS is there. So one can see his credit from his for the purpose of his personal return of income. So this is all about the concept of TDS. So when is TDS to be deducted? Basically, like debit and credit in accountancy, we say in accountancy the most important part is debit and credit. So in TDS for non-salary payments, it must be paid or credited, whichever is earlier. This is the thumb rule. One have to keep in mind while he is dealing with non-salary payment that TDS to be deducted at the time of making the prescribed payment, or credit to the income or payment to the deductee, whichever is earlier. But in case of salary, it is always on actual payment. So this is very important. The first important point you must keep in mind. Then, not only that, on each and every payment, you have to deduct your TDS. There is exception to it. And that says that deductions will only be done if the value of payment is above the specified threshold limit. So threshold limit is a very important point. There are different threshold limit which has been provided in Income Tax Act. And if you go through the rates and other thing in TDS, then you will see that there are many threshold limits has been given. So no TDS will be deducted if you have not crossed the specified limit. So different threshold limits are there. For example, if we say interest other than interest on securities, 194A, there the simple point is this: if your interest income is not exceeding 40,000 rupees, then there will be no TDS will be deducted. And for the senior citizen, if it does not exceed 50,000 rupees, then there will not be any TDS to be deducted. Similarly, two more sections I must quote here, 194C and 194J. So in 194C, what we know that if a single transaction is not crossing 30,000 rupees, or in a year, if you are not getting 1 lakh rupees, then also no TDS to be deducted. Similarly, for the 94J, we chartered accountant, whenever we will provide our services, then if our payment is not exceeding 30,000, then the other party doesn't have to deduct any TDS on our professional fees. But if it's exceeding, then. But I always says, if somebody is deducting your TDS, you easily says, okay, not an issue, because it's just an advance tax. It reduces your burden at the end of the year, because at the end of the year, you here or there you have to pay your taxes. So if TDS is deducted, then it reduces your burden, and it also reduces your interest liability for payment of advance taxes, because we know there are 4 dates for the advance taxes, and if you are not depositing your advance tax in time, then there is an interest to be levied for your advance tax defaults in your advance tax. So this is always a very important part. The threshold limit is always a very important part. So as I say, these are the various sections where we have seen. And now, if you see that 194Q, not only incomes are only covered in TDS, now sales and purchase are also covered in TDS. The government is going ahead with all the incomes, all the expenditures. They are taking those into TDS brackets. And if you see for the 194Q, if you exceed 50 lakhs rupees your turnover, if your transactions is more than 50 lakhs rupees and your turnover for the year is more than 10 crore rupees, then also you have to deduct your TDS. So these are various actions, various threshold limits which one have to keep in mind while deducting TDS. So this is a very important part. So what are the rates for deductions of tax at source? So the rates are always specified in relevant provisions of the Act or the procedure of the Finance Act. There we will get every year the rates are coming and accordingly TDS will be deducted. But if your payment is in relation to non-resident persons, then DTA is also a major part. We have to take the tax rate which are being specified under the double taxation avoidance agreement, and we have to consider that also. And in later part, I will tell you that the role of 15C and 15CV, and we have to take into considerations now as we are going globalized. So the role of 15CV is coming very heavily to us, and we all have to take care while giving 15CV certification, because there we have to clearly indicate what rate of TDS to be deducted for a particular transactions of payment. So that is very important. So rates are always very, very important. Now, thus, after coming of GST, there are many queries in relation to inclusion and exclusion of GST in TDS. So this circular says that whenever in terms of an agreement or contract between the payer and payee, the component of GST on service comprised in the amount payable to any resident, if it is indicated separately, then TDS is deducted excluding GST. But if if the invoice is not showing GST separately, then on the entire amount you have to deduct TDS at the specific rate specified. So that is very important, because like railway contractors and others, where they are many times we have seen that in the invoice GST is not separately shown in the bill. Then you have to deduct TDS on the entire invoice value. If it is indicated separately, then there is not an issue. There's one more point in TDS, that is higher deduction, 206 AA, 206 CC. This is basically on PAN. As we all know, permanent account number. If for TDS deductions, deductee must have a PAN number. If he doesn't have PAN number, then he will be charged a higher rate. What is the higher rate? In TDS, it is 20% or regular rate of TDS, whichever is higher in case of non-availability of PAN. In case of TCS, twice the regular rate or 5%, whichever is higher in case of non-availability of PAN. Section 206 AA is equally applicable to resident as well as non-resident. There is 206 AB also, but as you all know, this webinar, this is only the first part one of the practical approach to TDS. Next week, we will touch upon practical approach to TDS part 2. There, the next speaker, Deepak Ji, will take those sections in details. So we have divided what is important for me in this webinar, and the other part will be taken by Deepak Ji next week. So this is very important, because when you are going for filing TDS returns, PAN availability and non-availability is always there whenever you are filing your TDS return. So one must keep in mind that if PAN is not available and if TDS is not deducted at higher rate, then if you have deducted the TDS at the specified rate which has been given in Finance Act, then there is always, you will get a short deduction notice from the department itself. So this is very important point. And now in 206 AB, next week you will see that now there are many other points which are there in TDS, that if you are not filing your income tax return also in time, then also for a certain type of payments, you will be charged a higher deduction of TDS. So these all points, fine points, one must keep in mind while he's filing any TDS return, be it a salary return or a non-salary return. So now question will come, sir, this much आपने तो इतना सारा tax बता दिया, higher भी बता दिया. But now the important point is this, that now how you can avoid your TDS, TCS also. There are, so these are the three forms which helps us in avoiding our TDS. What are those? These are the, if you have a Form 15G, if your income is below taxable limit, that is 2,50,000. So then by filing Form 15G also, you can avoid your TDS returns. If you submit that to your deductor, he will not deduct the TDS. Similarly, for the senior citizen, it is 15H. And Form 13 is a special form which is given to all the persons that they can apply to the income tax department for lower deductions of TDS. Because in case of huge transactions where transactions value are very huge, then the 1% is also a hefty amount of TDS. In that case, one have to apply to income tax department for lower deduction of TDS. And nowadays, electronically, you will get a certificate for lower deduction of TDS. And while filing your TDS return, you have to quote that TDS certificate number in your return. Then only you will get the benefit of reduced rate of TDS. If you are not quoting a correct certificate number, then you will not get any benefit out of it. And rather, you will get notice for the short deduction for the very same deductee. So you have to keep in mind that it is, and nowadays from the TRISS website is there, you can check that against one deductee, whether deductor TAN number is included in that Form 13 or not. So that is also a way where you can check that yes, it is within the limit. And once the limit is exceeded, then in the normal rate, of course, you have to deduct your TDS. Else, you will also get short notice for that also. And the most important part, like in TDS, is always a PAN. PAN is always a very key. So you have to put a correct PAN details to your deductor so that there will not be any issues in relations to short deductions or short payment in your case. And when you are going to file your income tax return, you will not get any type of glitches. So that is very important. So now I will show you that how the TDS ecosystem works, because that's very important. We know the sections, we know everything, but this is also very important, that how the TDS ecosystems works. So if you see from the payer deductor employer side, that the deductor will deposit the TDS, that is through challan. I will cover you that the challan is also that for the government deductor, there is a book adjustment and other things that we will also be covering. Then now I'm just taking, when you pay your challan through bank, then through Altas, it goes to tax network system, that is TIN system or income tax system. And from that SIN number, you will report your TDS to CPC. And while filing your TDS statement and downloading your TDS certificate, you can put all those details to the pay or deduct your employee or anyone who is the income earner from out of this. And I told you that there's a key role of lower deduction certificate. So if you given your lower deduction certificates, then accordingly the reporting will be there. And if you are giving your lower deduction certificate also, then also the report will always be there. In your 26 years, you will get, because the very purpose of TDS is this, that whatever income you are earning, that should be reported. So that is very important. The most important part is that income to be reported. That is very important point. And once this is given, then when you are filing your ITR return, you can claim your TDS. And if your TDS is excess, then you will also get refund from the income tax department on the excess TDS being deducted from your PAN number. This is how the whole TDS ecosystem works, basically. And similarly, the same thing is working in TCS systems also. In TCS, here there is a seller or pay, and the other parts are very same, which is there in the TDS ecosystem. And accordingly, the whole things, the challans. So the first part in the TDS return is always challan. Challan is very important. PAN, TAN, and the challan is very, very important. And I always use one word: garbage in is garbage out. So what you are putting is very important. So one have to keep in mind that there should not be any default in making challan payments and PAN declaration. So what are the steps for TDS? Normally, if we say the first part is you must have a TAN number of 1010. You must deduct your taxes from the liable payments, deposit TDS. Normally, challan number 281. There is time limits. You have to file your quarterly return. If you are not doing, the consequence is always you will get a default at your TRESS dashboard. So that's very important. So now the first, I will take the TAN. What is TAN? Every deductor is required to obtain a TAN number. What is TAN number? TAN number is basically a unique identification number, which is a 10-digit alphanumeric number. And the number is to be quoted by the deductor in every correspondence related to TDS. Here you are seeing the TDS number. If my dear student, if you are working in TDS returns, just imagine any TDS 10-digit TDS number in which you are dealing. Then the next slide is for you. Yes. So the typical TAN number of the 10-digit. Here I have given an example of DELA 10353E. So if you see this TAN number, basically the first 3 digits represent the state or controlling state. DEL stands for Delhi. For our Northeast regions, we always used SHL, that's Shillong. Mainly for the Northeastern area, Shillong is the first. The Shillong is the main income tax department head office is there. So they use SHL. So SHL stands for Shillong. Similarly, DEL stands for Delhi. You can imagine for your states, and you will get the answer. And the A is very important. The 4th digit. That is the first name of the deductor. So whenever any TDS TAN number comes to you, by seeing the TAN number, you can say that whether it is correct or wrong. That is very important. And other is only a check numbers. Running numbers and check numbers are there. Other 5 are the other 6 are only the check numbers. But this first 4 you must keep in mind, and that will make you an expert. That yes, by seeing only you can say that yes, it is correct. So what are the uses of this TAN number? Basically, we use these TAN numbers on challans, in returns, on certificate, and most important, all correspondence with the income tax department. When you register your TAN number with the TRESS website, whatever correspondence are there, the income tax department will always do in reference to that TAN number only. That's very, very important. So as I say that the role of TAN is also very important while filing your TDS return, because now the system is this, that if you are making mistake in putting the name and address of your TAN details, then also many times the concerned TN access centers or system will not accept. They say that it is not matching with the database. So how you will come to know that for my TAN number, what is exactly the name and what is the address? So it is a very simple procedure. In the e-filing portal, income tax portal, if you go to the quick links, there is a tab called Know Your TAN. So you can search your TAN number by name or TAN number, anyone. There's two things, either by name or by TAN number, whatever you want, you can check that. And most important part is choose the category, because category is very important, and the state, because similar name may be in many states. So category of deductors and state is very important. If you choose both of them and you enter your name or TAN number, then they will ask for a mobile number, because the OTP will come, and when you put the OTP and everything is correct, then they will disclose the database in relation to that TAN number. I always say in my all the classes that before you start any TDS filing, the first and foremost work is know your TAN. If one have the TAN database with him, then the first part is already, because there are three parts in TDS return filing. The first part is always in relation to TAN, because you have to put in all the details. When I will go for my practical demo on salary, you will see that the first part of TDS filing is in relation to TAN and in relation to TAN details, whether it is a DDO or a responsible persons or the name or address, everything. That is very, very important. So first and foremost work you have to do is this, that you must know your TAN. Then PAN. I think I heard from a lot of studies that we already have a webinar on PAN, and it's a 1 hour webinar already been done. So I am not going through the details of PAN, because if we are going for discussion on PAN, the PAN itself take more than 1 hour, because so much of material are there in PAN. But when in relation to TDS filing, PAN is also very important. So if the first part is 10, then there is second part is deductor ka detail aapko samajh mein aa gaya. Now you must know the deducted details. So for the deducted details, I am Vikas Jain, he is Ankit Jalan, but income tax department doesn't know that I am Vikas or he is Ankit. Department knows me as ABPP 2738. That's my PAN number. So PAN number is very, very important while filing your TDS return, because all the credits will come accordingly. So if I say, if you have your PAN number with you, or if you can remind your PAN number, just put that in your mind. What is your PAN number? And there, the fourth character is very important. I'm sure, like a magician, I can say, all of us, the fourth character is always P. Why P? I will come. But the fourth character for all of us, whosoever is sitting here, or whosoever is in this webinar, their fourth character is always be P. And the fifth character is the first character of that SSC surname or the name. Because why here we have put up name and surname? Because for the individual, this surname is there. Other than individual, it is always name. Because whenever you are filing your TDS, your PAN number, with this, I must say that there are two forms, 49A and 49B form. So if you want to apply for PAN, you need form 49A. If you need to have a TAN number for your organization, you need 49B form. And any corrections, if you want in your PAN or TAN, then similarly there is a correction forms are also there, 49A corrections forms are also there. 49B correction forms are there. In relations to 10, one point I just want to tell all of you that many times what we have seen that people changes their addresses from one place to other places, and they are not making corrections of their address. So this is very important. Whenever you are making change of your address, please ensure that you or your client must file a 49B corrections form in relations to your address so that a proper address being updated in ITT database. If you are not doing that, that is also one type of default you are doing. So we normally advise our clients that whenever you are changing your address, similarly, in case of PAN also, once PAN or TAN allotted, that is for the lifetime. You cannot change it. It is for your lifetime, the particular PAN number or TAN number up to your existence. But in case of PAN also, if you are changing your address, this is also advisable that you must change your 49A corrections form and change your address. This is also very important because depending on that, your assessing office will change. So that is also very, very important point. So now again, I came to my first point, that is the fourth character, P. So the P is what? P is a status code list. What are the status code list? This is one of the most, I think I love this slide every time whenever I showcase this slide, because this is very important. Because if you see TDS is always on rates, and rates are always depends on your status, your category. Many times when we see that you got a SWOT deduction certificate, people normally made mistakes in case of F, that is firm. Because there are sole proprietorship firm, there is partnership firm. And in our country, there is always a myth between firm. Whether it is a sole proprietor, because for the sole proprietorship firm, there is no PAN number separately being allotted. For a proprietorship firm, an individual PAN number is the PAN number of that firm. But for a partnership firm, the status change, and accordingly your PAN number also change. And accordingly, the rates of TDS is also changed, because most of the rates are in our income in TDS are either for the individual or HUF or other than individual or HUF, like company, firms and others. So status code is very, very important of the deducting, because on that basis only you have to deduct your TDS, TCS. So if you see, C is for company, P is for person, individuals. For all individual, you always have P, the person's category is always there. Then for H, Hindu undivided family. For firm, F. For association of person, AOP is K. For trust, it's T. Body of individual, B. Local authority, L. Artificial judicial person, J. And now after coming of GST, G is also very important, because GST is a PIN-based registration. And for all the government organization, though they are not going to file their income tax return, but for their GST returns, they need a PAN number. And there the status always be a G. Many times we have seen that people have PAN number with L, and local authorities with L also, L status also they have taken there, but it's wrong. If you are a government organizations, then the fourth character must be G. If it is not, then you have to make a corrections after that. So that is very important. Now, what are the timelines for depositing tax? So there are two deductors basically. One is a government deductors, one is other than government deductors. So for all the sections, if it is without the challan, then same day of the deductions. But if it with the challan, then 7 days from the end of the month of the deductions or collections. And for March, it is 30th April. or in case of other than government department. For salary, up from April to February, it is always seventh day from the end of the month of the deductions. And for the March, it's 30th April. Earlier, there were some changes in salary part, but now it is all 30th April. So these dates are very important, because if you have made any mistake, then there will be an interest penalty for one more month. I will come in my next slide. And with the special approval of Joint Commissioners, payment may be done on quarterly basis for the sections 192 salary, interest other than interest on security, insurance, brokerages, and others. Those are there. Some specific. So this is very important part. What are the timeline for tax deposit? So how you will pay now? This is but how we will pay our taxes? So there are two modes. One is electronic mode. One is physical modes. Physical mode means Challan 281 physically deposited to the bank. But electronically now, electronic payment is mandatory for all corporate SSCs and all SSC other than company with whom audit is applicable. So they have to electronically deposit it there to the TDS. And physically also, you can furnish Challan 281 to the authorized bank. So if you are going for electronic payment of taxes, then the very same part, you can log in through TIN NSDL e-payment, or from the income tax website also e-payment taxes. They will also take you up there only. And you have to select the specified Challan, relevant Challan. 281 Challan is relevant for TDS, and you have to enter your TAN number and other details of the taxpayer like address and other details. And then they will direct you to the net banking site. And with the user ID and password of your bank, you can pay your taxes, and accordingly you will generate a SIN, a Challan. So in the next Sunday, I spoke with Deepakji. Now from the last 1 or 2 months, the Challan now income tax website started generating of Challan from their website. Some banks, they are not going through TIN NSDL site. So one must check before paying any TDS that whether the bank is authorized there. If not, then they have to go to income tax website, and they have to follow all the procedures like the PAN, TAN, and the mobile number and other thing. And accordingly, they can pay. Bakis, everything is similar. There's nothing much changes from the earlier way of paying taxes. So you can pay your taxes, and most important part is that you will generate a SIN. SIN is very important while filing your TDS return. So this is a TIN NSDL website portal for tax payment. There you have to select Challan 281, and this way. Earlier, actually, in paying your Challan, earlier corporate deductees, non-corporate deductees, all these are very important. But past few years now, those things are not very relevant. So you can choose any. Normally, we told people that you must choose income tax other than companies, because most of the TDS is being deducted for the individuals. And then for the type of payments, there are many payments, but here you have to take 200. This is, I think, this is Challan for 280 actually. 281. There are TDS sections and the net banking, and accordingly you have to pay your taxes. So the Altas, who is doing all this thing, who generate the SIN number for you, is coming to picture in June 2006. They dematerialize the tax Challans, and each Challan is given a Challan identification number. What is Challan identification number? It's a 5-digit BSR code, 6-digit Challan tender date, 5-digit Challan serial number. So a typical SIN number is first the BSR code, then the tender date, and then the serial number. Ankit, I think some sounds is coming now. Should I stop?
Sir, we are okay. We are hearing you properly. You can please continue.
Yeah. Okay. This is typical a SIN number. So SIN number is very important. Whenever you are dealing in any TDS filing, the first PAN, TAN, and then the challan part. You must have a proper SIN with you. When these are the prerequisites. When you are sitting for a TDS filing, what are the important points you must take into care? First TAN, then PAN, then challan. In challan, you must check whether you have a proper SIN with you or not. If it is not 5-digit BSR code or 6-digit challan DAT or 5-digit challan serial number, then you re-inquire whether what is the correct SIN number. That is because it is very important. If you are making any mistake here, definitely you will get a notice for short payment. And for making corrections for the short payment is also a rigorous task. So you must keep this in your mind while dealing with all DAS challans. Okay. So now this is a unique part. Many people are not dealing with the government deductors. So we always know about SIN, but we always have a very less knowledge about the BIN. What is BIN? BIN is book identification number. For every government deductors, whenever there is a tax deducted or collected by the government offices, how they will remit their taxes to the central government. They are not paying that through bank challans. So for this hurdle only, when GST came, government started that we need challans, and they make mandatory that any transaction, be it a government department or non-government department, we don't know. In service tax era also, there is a concept, similar concept like TDS in service tax era also, where there is a concept of book transfer. But now in GST there is no concept, but maybe income tax also sooner or later when everything is digitized. So we will heard that this 24G is a matter of past, but now it is there. And for that, how BIN is coming to you? Basically, for every government department basically they have a small DDOs. Small DDOs, they have deduct taxes from the specified payments, but the GDOs doesn't have that much power. So on them there are pay and account officers or check drawing disbursing officers, CDDOs or PAOs. So or whatever name code who can deduct taxes. So they all have to. They are responsible for filing a return, a separate return, apart from salary or non-salary return. There's a return code 24G returns to NSDL within a prescribed time. So once they file their 24G return, then BIN is being generated. I will just showcase you how this whole process is work. So 24G is also very important. Just wait. Yeah. So responsibility of a government deductor to submit statement of 24G is within 10 days from the end of the month. So every month they have to file their 24G returns for the particular month. As I said, that in case of government department, very same day they have to deduct TDS because it's without challan. But that all goes to drawing and disbursing officers, and he compiles for the month every deductions being made by the particular DDO, and on the 10 number, if suppose one DDO has a particular 10 number, other DDO has another 10 number, on every 10 numbers he will put on salary, non-salary, and TCS whatsoever. So they will put the figures there. So it is basically just like Voltas. How Voltas works, similarly, the 24G returns will also work for them, and they will intimate the bin generated to the each deductors. There are free utilities are available in NSDL website. For 24G, there are two utility, 24G return preparation utility now versus 1.8. And as we know, for the TDS return also, for validating any TDS return, we need abuse, and which has been constantly being changed by the department. Similarly, here also for 24G return, there is an FView. There is a version 1.8. Actually, in the RPU, it is inbuilt. So once you fill up all those details in the 24G returns, you can file that returns. So what are the contents for Form 24G? Basically, contents includes AI number, account identification number, like 10 number. For 24G returns, every PAN account office or CDDO must have an AIN. AIN means account identification numbers, and the name of the AO, demographic information, category of AO, whether central government or state government, ministry name, other thing, statement details, month and year for which 24G return is being filed, what are the nature of deduction, salary, non-salary, TCS, DDO-wise payment details. Payment details means the whole payment detail on salary, how much TDS being deducted. Then the details will be given for the 10 numbers to whom they are giving credit, like 10 numbers, name of the DDO, tax deducted, remitted, mode of the assistance of DDO. Like if you want to change, you can change through make a corrections to add, update, and delete. So when you go for the utility, you will get this 24G. This will be open in the RPU. If you say there is a first is the statement details. Statement details is basically, if you see here, we have to put AIN numbers and other things, financial year, AIN numbers and month. This three is very important, and the address and other details. And then in the DDO details, you have to put 10 numbers, name, DDO registration number, DDO code, address, and every other things. Details will be given. And here, nature of deductions. You have to put which nature, whether it is a salary, non-salary, NRI, or TCS. Basically, we are in TDS, we are filing 4 types of return: 24Q, 26Q, 27Q, and 27EQ. Accordingly, you have to put in there what are the nature of deductions and DDO numbers and the amount. And once you fill that, you can create file, and the file validation successful will come, and you can deposit this with online also, and also with the TNFC center also. And once the return is filed, within the same day, you will get the bin number. So how bin consists for? So the bin consists of 3 things. Similarly, like there, 5-digit of BSR code. Here, receipt number is a 7-digit unique number. There is a DDO serial number, 5-digit unique generated for each DDO, and there is a date. Similarly, very similar to the same, bin is also been there. सेम, दोनों का सेम तरह से ही है. जैसे बिन है वैसे, जैसे सिन है वैसे ही बिन भी होता है. एंड बिन इज ऑल्सो लाइक दिस इज रिसिप्ट नंबर, डीडीओ सीरियल नंबर एंड डेट विच इज यूनिक, and you have to use that while filing the government deductors return. So this bin is a unique number for each 24G statement. You have to email the bin details to the respective PAO, and normally NSDL do. And bin is been quoted quarterly for the TDS TCS statement filed by the DDOs. While filing quarterly TDS TCS statement, DDO has to quote bin in transfer voucher details. Facility to PO to view or download bin at TIN website. You can check. I will next slide. I will showcase you. If you check, then what will come? See, this is a normally when you go to TIN NSDL website in services, Form 24G is another service. There you have to go to bin view. Once you go to bin view, then you have to put 10 numbers. What are the nature of payments? Month AIN number is very key, because without AIN number you cannot check what is your book identification number. So for that, you must not go to the pay and account officer or CDDO that what is my bin number. A bin can be checked by yourself only by just visiting to the TINBIN Industrial website, and this is how you can check from the 24G bin view. You can check the bin number, and if you see in red, there is book identification numbers are there. This is book identification number, 7-digit, 5-digit, and 6-digit is there. It is used, and accordingly, these are the bin details for the 24G, and you can use it while filing your TDS or TCS returns. So this is all about government deductors bin number. Now, again come to SIN. What are the don'ts? Because this is very important. Earlier, the list is very huge, but now this list has been reduced. So what are the don'ts while paying, while you are depositing your taxes? So never use incorrect type of challan. 280, 281. So you must understand that 281 challan number is for TDS. Quoting PAN and TAN. So for PAN challan, you need a PAN number. For 10 challans, you need a 10 number. So you should not replace PAN in place of 10 or 10 in place of PAN or vice versa. Then there's a long process, because though in law there is given that within 7 days you can change, but no, for that there are a very huge process of if you are making not only PAN and TAN, if you are making mistake in a TAN, suppose Vikas 10 numbers are separate and Ankit 10 number are separate, and by mistake I put in Ankit's 10 number in while making payment of challan. So if I want to make a corrections, then bank, they says we don't have any options with us to change this 10 number from Ankit's 10 numbers to my 10 numbers. They will say that you have to go to income tax department. Once you go to income tax department, then they will ask that please give us indemnity bond. You have to take no objection certificates from the concerned deductee that yes, it is not his amount, it is your amount. So huge process, and the process will take more than 15-20 days. So the whole things will be in trouble. So one must clear that when you are in the electronic payment now, everything is so easy. Whenever you are putting any 10 numbers, before you pay, the payment site will always pop up and says, this is the financial year, this is the 10 number. First, please check whether name is okay or not. Many times we are always in a rush and we are just putting click, 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 and we have paid. So that will make a trouble. So if you just be in a cool mind while paying your taxes, then a lot of hurdle will go recess, right? So separate 10, and there is one more important point. There are like banks. See, bank like State Bank for a case. State Bank has there's a legal entity. They have a one PAN only. PAN India, they have a one PAN. But TAN is a separate TAN for each branch or division of the entity. So for a business also, you may have 3-4 layers of businesses. So you can have 4 TAN numbers for 4 different businesses. So there may be separate TAN for one legal entity, but there will always be one PAN for a legal entity. So this is also misconceptions for many students. So this is very important to know. So same challan for depositing various types of taxes like advanced tax, self-assessment tax. You should not, there are different challans are there. So you have to take care of this. And this is one most important point, financial year assessment here. we always make a mistake. Now, thanks to the government, that now T+1 concept is there. So for this year, you can use last year also challan and next year also. But earlier it is not there. Whatsoever financial year you have put up, that financial year challan is there. If you want, then you have to change it from the assessing officer, another thing. But now it is very easy. But then also one must vigilant while putting financial year or assessment year. That's very important. And I always say, don't use pre-printed challan whenever you are going for physical depositing of tax without verifying the PAN number or PAN number quoted in those challans, because whether it belongs to you or not, that's very important. And you can check always your TAN or PAN from the allotment letter you receive from the NSDL or team website. So that is very, very important. And those don'ts you must keep in your mind while filing your tax deposits. Now, various forms in TDS system. So now we are discussing on this. Then I will also, in the last, I will also come that what are the various forms in TDS systems also, other forms also. Here we are just on filing. Yeah, okay.
I'll just interrupting you, sir, because there are some questions on chat box with regard to correction of PAN. So many of the students are asking if we can correct the PAN entered incorrectly in the TDS return. So yes, that is possible. And students, please hold on for some time. We will take up your question at the very end. And sir will take us through a demo. So how to file a return, correction of PAN return is not what he will be showing us on a demo. But yes, he will definitely answer. So I'm holding back all the questions you are putting in, and we will have a question answer session by the end of the session. So sir and me will try to answer all the questions. So please hold on for some time. We will get back to this.
Okay. Yeah, Vidiji, you want to say something?
No, you carry on, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So there are various forms which are in TDS system for the filing of TDS returns. So normally we are using 24Q, 26Q, 27Q, and 27EQ. So 24Q is for salary returns, 26Q is for non-salary returns, 27Q is for non-residence return, and 27EQ is for TCS. And there is there is some concept of challan cum statement that it is not quarterly return, it is on the transaction based. So for those transaction rate, there are some forms which one of them are 26QB, like for the immovable properties. When you are selling an immovable property, then there's 26QB returns are there. For rent, for the individuals, there are 26QC, and for the contractors also for the 194M, there are 26QD is also there. So these forms are there, and all 26QB, QC, QD will be taken care by Deepak ji next week. Today I will take only 24Q and the basics, so that the pitch is clear for Deepak ji to go ahead with all these forms. So this is very important. There are many forms which are important for in TDS regime. So these are all 24Q, 26Q, 27EQ, and 26Q returns are there. So once you file your TDS return, it generates different certificates. So certificates are also very, very important. For salary return, there is the certificate called Form 16, which is given annually, 15 days from the last quarter of TDS returns. And 16A is very important. It is a quarterly TDS certificate for all non-salary returns. And for the special case like 16B for the sale of property, QB, 16C for the personal rent, or 16D for the TDS for payment to resident contract. These all have to be given. Normally 15 days time are there. If you are not, then when I will go for the penalty sections, I will showcase that normally we all know in TDS only to 34E, but my dear friends, there are other sections also which also make you liable to pay penalties. If income tax department want, they can charge you those penalties also. So this is very important. Normally we will in TDS filing we are dealing with these three mainly: 16, 16A and 27D for the TDS and TCS returns. I already explained you that 16 is as annual returns and 16A and 27D is at quarterly returns. So what are the timeline for filing TDS returns? Normally 1 month is been given from the quarter end, and for the last quarter 2 months has been given. But for the TCS they are only giving 15 days. So there is a difference between TCS and TDS return. One must keep first TCS will come, then TDS will come. So 15th for the June quarter, 15th July, for September quarter, 15th October, December quarter, 15th January, and for the March quarter, it's 15th May. And accordingly, for 24Q, 26Q, and 27Q, the three returns, now the dates are 31st July, 31st October, 31st January, and 31st May. This year, for the special case, they are doing some changes for the second quarter. Only for 26Q, 1 month extension is being given. Now up to 30th November also, one can file 26Q also. Only 26Q, no other forms. Only they have given for 26Q, not 27Q or 24Q. No, only 26Q only they have given for this month, current month. They have given up to 30th November. They have extended the timeline. So one must keep in mind, because if you are not keeping track with this timeline, then there is a huge penalty, and that penalty is 234E. So before that, I will discuss now the important point is interest. Interest under section 201. It is very important. Many times it's a critical calculations also. So there are two parts. First is you have to deduct 1% for every month or part of the month on the amount of such tax being deductible to the date on which the tax is deducted. And if once you have deducted but not deposited, then there will be an interest of 1.5%. This calculation is always on monthly basis, and part of the month will be considered as full month. There is no definitions of month in Income Tax Act, but normally 30 days is counted as month in income tax, not as English calendar month, but 30 days. So I am just putting some example for interest on late deposit of TDS, because this is very important. When you are dealing with TDS filing, interest is a big part, and correct calculation is also very, very important. So if I say that your date of credit or payment is 20th January, date of deductions is 21st February. So what is important here? Due date for depositing tax will be, it is always depend on when you have deducted your TDS, not on your date of credit or payment. So the 7th March is, as you have deducted on 21st February, so 7th March is your due date. You can deposit up to 7th March. So as TDS is being paid on 20th January, but is being deducted on 21st February, so there will be 2-month interest will be charged on the amount. So accordingly, interest amount will be coming as 100 rupees. For the January month is 1 month, February month is another month. So 2 months will be there, and accordingly 100 rupees will be charged. Okay. Now, in case the similar case, if we take the tax deposit date is not 7th March. Now the tax is really deposited on 8th March. So now here the two cases will come. The first is already there, 20th January and 21st February. You have credited, paid on 20th January. You have deducted on 21st February. So 2 months, the first section, which I already explained you, that 100 rupees is always there. Then now, as you have deducted on 21st February, but you paid on 8th March. The due date is 7th March, but you have paid on 8th March. So you only for one day, you will charge for 2 months. Now for that, you have to pay first on 5,000, 2%, because there is a delay in deductions. And again, you will charge 3% because you are delaying depositing your tax. So adding both, you have to pay interest for 250 rupees, 100 for late deductions, 150 for late deposit. So I think this is clear to all of you. This is a very simple example. Many times I got questions that why 2 months? 7th था मैंने 8th को कर दिया तो क्यों 2 month? No, because here month is considered as full. So the due date 21st February. Actually you have to deduct on February only, but for the ease they have given up to 7th your date. But if you are not following the due dates, then the full month interest will be charged to you, and accordingly you have to pay this. So this is what separately I have made this, because it is a common issue. Normally, whenever the deductor comes to us and he says, "मैंने तो time से payment कर दिया, I have paid in time." When we show the challan, we say, "Sir, आपने एक दिन delay किया है इसके अंदर, एक दिन delay करने के लिए, एक दिन delay, एक ही दिन तो delay हुआ है." We say, "No, sir, one day delay is also a delay. Now you have to pay 3% interest." And this is a normal case. Many times, whenever we are dealing with TDS filing, this is a common issue that you have to pay 3% interest for any delay in paying your due date. Normally, in the government concerns and the big institutions, normally we say that bank makes reports and 7th will come to 8th and you have to pay interest on it. So one have to keep in mind that TDS challan should be paid well within time. You should not wait till 7th. If you are waiting, agar wo 8th ho gaya, so it will give you a loss of 3% interest. Okay. Now, this is the most, I think, rigorous provisions in TDS 234E. If you are not file your return in time, the due date, then 200 rupees fine per day will be there up till you file your TDS return. So if you are not filing your TDS return in time, then there will be a penalty, late filing fees, not penalty, it is, we always say late filing fees, 4 rupees 200 for every day. But there is a maximum limit. The maximum limit is tax amount. It cannot be exceed the tax amount. Okay. So if we see that tax deducted 5,000, date of filing quarterly return first quarter 17 November, due date is 31st July. Actually, it is May. Actually, मैंने गलत से November लिख दिया वहाँ पे, तो May होगा. Then only it will be 31st July. So no, it's okay. Okay, date of filing is 17th November. Sorry. Okay. Date of deduction is 13th May. So up to 31st July, you have to pay. You have to file your return. You are filing your return on 17th November 2022. So there is a delay in filing return. That is 109 days delay is there. So if we go through the simple mathematics, then there will be a late filing fees of 21,800 rupees. But since the amount is greater than the TDS amount of 5,000 rupees, so you will have to pay 5,000 as late filing fees. But if your tax amount is like 50,000 here, then definitely you have to pay 21,800 as 234E late filing fees. So this is a very this is a provisions where really it's a tough. One have to keep in mind that if you make a default, there is a huge liability coming your way. So you have to keep this in your mind that you are filing your return in time. Just a minute. TDS penalty for late filing of TDS TCS returns. So if you are, there is also, this is also now in department is going to start using these sections also. If you fails to file your TDS TCS returns within due date, then there is a minimum penalty of 10,000, maximum extend to 1 lakh rupees. So the penalty under this section is in addition to the late filing fees under section 234E. The section will also cover the cases of incorrect filing of TDS returns also. No penalty under section 271H will be levied in case delay in the filing for the following reasons. What are those reasons? Tax deducted collected is paid to the credit of government. You have already paid, but due to some issues, you have not filed returns. Late filing fees and interest is paid to the credit of the government. The TDS TCS return is filed before the expiry of a period of 1 year from the due date of the specified in this behalf. So 1 year is also very important. If you cross that line also, then definitely now prosecutions and compounding and other things are there. And normally we are not getting mercy on it. You have to do very hard work to go away with this section. So this section is also very important because one have to take care that the return should be filed within time. Because the simple concept is this: if you are not filing your return in time, it means the deductee will not get credit. If he is not getting credit, it means he cannot file his own return in time. If he is not filing his own, then there will be a liability on his part also, that he have to pay a taxes. He has to pay double taxation because you have already deducted his TDS and you are not giving him credit. So now he have to pay his TDS again on the very same amount. So for that reason, department or government is very strict that one must have to file their TDS returns on time. Okay. So there is also prosecution is also there. If you are not abiding the terms and conditions, there is also provisions for prosecutions also, which is a rigorous imprisonment for a term not less than 3 months, but which may extend to 7 years and with fine also. So for 234E cases, now department also started prosecution cases also. And if it is a case of 234E, believe me, you will not get relief from courts also, because it is in the act. So that is very hard. So we always tell our client that you must be careful while deducting your taxes. So there are other penalty provisions are also there. In that, I must the 2-3 sections which are very important, like 272A, 2F, 2G. For issues of form number 15G, 15H or certificates, there is 100 rupees for every day of failure. For 234 is 200 rupees, here it is 100 rupees. So that is very, very important. And there are other provisions are also there. If you are failure to make payment of taxes, then equal amount of tax. If you are not filing your TDS return under section 20, then there is also a penalty. So these penal provisions are very, very important. So now we will go for TDS returns. So the TDS returns, normally we are basically, what are the requirements for TDS returns? The TDS, for the filing of any TDS return, the main requirement is we need a software. So there are 2 types of software. One is commercial software, one is NSDL provided free utility. There are different vendors. They have given commercial softwares. Taxman, other are there where they are giving their softwares, and we will get an NSDL provided free utility. Currently, the RPU is there. which is 4.3, which is very useful for a small and medium-sized organization. It is a Java-based software, and it is freely available. But only the software will not work with its own. It also need an FView, file verification utility, and it is already always been changed. So NSDL provide, currently there is a version is 7.8, but we always says whenever you go for filing any TDS return for any quarter, like PAN, TAN and Challan, the fourth most important part is to check FView, which is the current FView which is relevant. Because if you are not checking that, it means your return will not be filed. Many times we have seen that people come to us and says, I have correctly use an software, prepare the TDS return, but when I go for filing, they are showing that it is not validated properly. So this is very important, that you must use a proper validation utility for filing your TDS or TCS returns. Okay. So these are the important things. Whenever you are going for filing your TDS return, you need a PAN of deductors and deductee, the Challan amount, TDS Challan, date of payment. Yeah, Ankit?
Sir, there is a request from our students that there is a pop-up which is coming up on the top left of the screen to remove a window. So if that can kindly be removed.
Oh, I have also seen that, but मैं कर नहीं पा रहा हूँ. I cannot.
Okay.
Just let me check once again.
Yes, on the top near slideshow at the moment. Yes, it has.
Should I? No. It is always. Please, I stop sharing now. Just now it is not there. Let me re again share my screen share. Just wait. Yeah, it is not coming now, no?
Yes, at the moment it is not appearing. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, so these details we required while filing our TDS returns. This is common. Actually, we already during our conversation, we are only talking about all these important things are only there. So what is 24Q returns? Today, this return we will discuss, the final return. This is for the salary return. 24Q return is a quarterly statement reflecting details of salary paid to the employees and tax deducted on salary. Yeah. Vidhi, please mute yourself. Yeah. So, quarterly statement reflecting details of salary paid to the employees and tax deducted on salaries to be filed by the employer in Form 24Q. Basically, 24Q return is a salary return, and it's an annual return. The other three returns are quarterly returns. Why this is an annual return and others are quarterly returns? Because the real impact of a salary return will come at the end of the year only, because the whole tax will be calculated therein. For 24Q, what are the most important part you need? See, in 24Q returns, apart from TAN, PAN, Challan, we also need Form 12B, 12DB. I will बाद में मैं आपको explain करूँगा what are those forms. Those forms are also very, very important forms. And Form 16, because tax calculations, the tax calculation of particular employee, because there are two annexures in 24Q. Annexure 1 and Annexure 2. Annexure 1 is very much similar with other forms. In other forms also, what we are putting up In other forms also, we are putting, apart from challan, we are putting there the details of the deductee, his PAN number, total amount paid, total TDS deducted. This is a common in every return. But apart from that, in 24Q, in Annexure 2, we are also providing salary details of the employees in fourth quarter, in which we put up the salary details for the entire year. And this is how 24Q return is being prepared. So this is common actually for all the TDS, not only 24Q, for others also, that they have to submit their TDS or TCS other returns also online or offline. Now there are two modes. You can go to offline mode also to by giving your TDS returns to a TNFC center also, online also in income tax website. This is website also you can file online also your TDS TCS return. But this is important for all this. This is the government deductors or a company or a audited concerns or any person whose deductee records exceeds 50. Then they have to file their TDS returns electronically. And how you can prepare? You can prepare your TDS return by using utility or third-party software also. And when you are going for filing your TDS returns, then it must have a control form 27A with each TDS and TCS returns. That is also very important, where all the details, and there whenever the HAS file and other things are very important, which is being checked by department that yes, whether it is correct or not. So 27A, signed 27A is very, very important. So what are the steps for preparing returns? You have to select the appropriate software, select the appropriate form, create company details, all the name, 10 numbers, other things, put the challan details, punch the deductee records. Then you can generate your TDS TCS statement, and you have to validate that return from the proper FVU. And once you validate that return in proper FVU, you will get a 27A and FVU file, and you should print that 27A, sign it, and submit the same to the TNFC. Or if you want to file that online also, then also you can file online also that return. Online, how you can submit will also be taken by Deepak ji in next week. So these are some important forms in TDS system. Before I go for the demo of salary return, one must keep in mind while dealing in TDS system these forms. The very first form is TANI. What is TANI form? TANI form is basically to be submitted on income tax e-filing portal to claim relief under Section 89. What is Section 89? If you have any salary, area salary or advance salary received during the financial year, then it gives reliefs to a taxpayer arising due to remittance if there is a difference. So who is responsible? Here the SEC is responsible that he will furnish TANI form to employer, because once he have to file it electronically, and he have to, if he gives TANI forms to his employer, then he will not deduct the whole TDS. He will consider the relief which is being claimed by an employee in TANI form. That's very important. 12B form. 12B form is very important when a person is employed for more than one employee. An employee is in underemployment under more than 2 employers. Then he will decide with whom the final tax will be deducted. So form 12B is being used. 12BA is basically given by the employer to employee in relations to perquisites, amenities, profit in lieu of salary, other values that will given by employer to employee that this is what in your salary we are also including all this aspect also. That's for the 12BA form. 12BB form is very, very important. And I normally guide my clients that you must have 12BB form with you. What is 12BB form? 12BB form basically is to claim benefits and rebates on investment and expenses. It has been submitted for every financial year, 12BB forms, to all salary, for all salary taxpayer. It should be furnished by employees to his employer. So 12BB is very, very important form. Then there is form number 13. Form number 13 is very popular in our northeastern area, because here we have tribal places and tribal areas are there. They are exempt from income tax. So normally they need form 13, lower deductions of TDS. So lower deductions or no deductions. For that, you have to apply to assessing officer, and the assessing officer on his request in form number 13, if he feels good, he will issue a certificate to him, and accordingly your TDS will be reduced. Now the two concepts, 15CA and 15CB. 15CA is basically, CA and CB is being used for payment to non-resident, not being a company or a foreign company. So there 15CA is furnished by the SEC to the income tax authority. Whenever there is a foreign remittance is involved, 15CA is a must. Bank will not remit any amount without producing 15CA. And what tax to be deducted in 15CA will be decided by 15CB form by a chartered accountant. And so this is also very, very important. That, but if it exceeds, it is applicable only when the payment or aggregate of payment will exceed 5 lakh rupees in a financial year. Then one have to take 15CB from a chartered accountant and have to furnish it to the income tax authority. Then form number 15G and H, we already been explained that it's a self-declaration form by the individual that no TDS to be deducted because his income is below taxable limit. And 15H is for the senior citizens. So they also file. Normally 15H is mostly being used because their income normally being many times below taxable limit. So 15H is also important. Form 16, 16A, Form 24G, we already been इतनी देर से हम बात कर ही रहे हैं तीनों फॉर्म्स के ऊपर में. So I'm not taking up. Form 26AS is very important. Form 26AS now will showcase whatsoever TDS has been deducted by different SSC, by the different deductors. A will be reflected in your PAN number. So I am not going to explain 26AS. I feel that most of you understand 26AS. 26AS will be coming from when you log in from your own PAN number, then you can take out 26AS. Now, two more part I have not using here is AIS and TIS, which is now as financial statements are coming up. So lots of other informations are coming to AIS, and one of that is in relation to TDS, TCS also. So those informations are also available in your AIS and TIS. So these all forms are there, which are very important. So Ankit, I think I have ample time. I will go through to practical demo that will be more better. So I'm just stopping here, and I will go because then we have to take question and answers also. Just wait. Mouse is not working. Okay. So, Ankit, दिख रहा ना अभी the slide is being there?
Yes, we can see your screen, your document.
Yeah. Okay. So when you go to NSDL and you download the RPU 4.3, and when you extract the 4.3, these all details will coming there. And here the two most important part is TDS RPU 4.3 and TDS standalone FPU 7.8. These two are very, very important. And when you click this TDS RPU 4.3, a pop-up window will come. Again, I think it is coming. Yeah. Okay. So when you open the RPU 4.3 this way, yeah, Ankit, you want to say something?
Yes, actually, there is a black screen which we can see and not the pop-up window.
Okay.
You need to share your screen with the entire screen as the selection when you click on share screen.
Just a minute. What I have to do?
Disconnect share. You can disconnect share once and restart screen share. And when you start screen share, select on entire screen.
Okay.
Not a particular window. Restart screen share and then click on entire screen. Yes, now we can see the RPU.
Okay. So now this form is there. This RPU 4.3 is applicable for all the returns. When you go to this form number, it will showcase you 24Q, 26Q, 27Q, 27EQ. So today we are taking only 24Q. If I click, then other regular corrections will come. We are going for regular. Click to continue. So this window will come, and yeah. So here we have to here we have to take first the inform. We have to take financial year. See, if I select financial year 22-23, then they will ask for select the quarter. Okay.
Sir, if I can interrupt you again.
Yeah.
We are unable to see anything on screen after click to continue button. So I am asking you, like, you have moved ahead, but the screen has not.
Okay. So what to do?
Sir,
there's some issue.
Yes, please restart screen share.
Now?
Yes, now the screen is visible. All the students, I'll just add here. Sir, with your permission, if I can keep myself unmuted and also address some of the questions which I have seen on the chat box while you do this.
Okay.
So all students, sir has clicked on click to continue in the previous screen, and this is the landing screen after you click on that click to continue button.
Yes, and now you have to select the quarter. See, here quarter 4 is always there. So quarter 1 and 2, 3 is not reflecting because 22-23 quarter 3 is not yet been start. So the quarter 2 I have selected here. Now you have to put tax deduction collections number, permanent account number. If you have, if you not, then you can put in PAN not available, PAN, PN, NOT, AV, VL. PAN not available. Then there are type of deductors. You have to select this. From there, there are a number of deductors type. Whether in which category you are, you have to select that. And this is particular. This is all coming from your TDS. Know your TDS. From your know your TDS, you will get all these details from particular statement. Then you have to put deductors details from the 10 details. The 10 number, whatever details are there, your name, your branch, your state. If it is under any ministry or other, then you have to put in all these informations here. If a government deductor, then you have to put in AIN also here, because we have to say that when you select here central government, this will be open. You have to put here. If you are not selecting central government, it will not come. So this is very important. And who is signing this 27A, who will sign this TDS return, and his name, his designation, address, mobile number, and PAN number, and other details we have to put in particular of persons responsible for deduction of taxes. So all these things are there in the first part. Yeah.
Sir, there is one query with regard to authorized signatory detail.
Yeah.
With regard to Form 26Q. So the same is also true with 24Q as we are doing.
Yeah.
24Q.
Okay.
So the question is, how can we change the authorized signatory details in Form 24Q or 26Q if in Form 27A different name appears and in 26Q different name appears? So this is what the student is asking. But
no. It is. Yeah. This is basically person who is signing, responsible person. It is not. If that responsible person is responsible, there may be 2-3 person who is responsible. In a big organization, there are many times that salary is being handled by HR, and non-salary is being handled by finance department. There may be 2 signatories for 24Q and 26Q. So it is no point. Actually, important is this: whatever information is going there, those information should be correct one. If it is an incorrect one, then you will lie with 271H. Putting incorrect informations. So you should not do that. Responsible person, it is not important that the responsible person should be one person only. It can be any number of times. Like in government department, normally they have one DDO, and the DDO will sign everything. Whatsoever forms are there, a specified DDO is there. But in non-government or corporate type organization, in big companies and other, they have for TCS there are separate person, for TDS, for salary there are separate person, for non-resident working there are separate person. So there will be a different category of person who will sign, because they know what information is going. He is responsible. If something coming out of that, then he is responsible to give answer to his management. So there may be different signatory out of it. Okay, Ankit, I think I can go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Then there is a challan. Whenever you go to challan, here in the actually slide के कारण थोड़ा सा नीचे दिखने में problem. अच्छा, yeah, this is there. Add rows. So you have to add rows. If you put 2, okay, then there will be 2 rows will be coming, and you have to give all the challan details here. आपको यहाँ challan का पूरा informations you have to put in challan informations. Yeah. So see, earlier this section code is now disabled. Earlier it is enable, because now in challan there is no point. Challan के अंदर sections का there is no issue now. It is endless now. If there is a challan, it can be used for any section, TDS, TCS, or any section TCS. You can use, not an issue. But for ease of work, normally we separately pay taxes. You have to put TDS, suppose 100 rupees, you have put TDS. I'm just taking 100 rupees, and there is a 100 rupees interest also, and there is a late fees of 100 rupees also. So we have put at 300 rupees, and if we check that, then here you have to put BSR code, the SIN number, BSR code, date of deposits, challan serial number, everything you have to put, and what are the interest allocated is there. It is important. So you have to put all these things here. If mode of deposit, see, through book adjustment, yes or no. If it is book adjustment, then you have to put yes. If it is not book adjustment, then you have to put no. So this is important, because for challan, if you have a bank challans, then you cannot put yes here. You have to put no. But if it is a bin number, then you have to put yes here. And interest to be allocated 100 rupees and 100 rupees in others in relations to the penalty payments we have done. Okay, so this is what in relations to challan. Then there is a annexures 1. I will also have a demo data with me. So first I am just showing you the blank one, then we will use that one. So this is annexure 1 details. Here also you have to insert the rows. So see, in RPO, this is the best part. They will say for the challan, like for the challan number 1, how many deductees are there? For challan number 2, how many deductees are there? So that mistake will also be taken care by the system itself. So if you are putting here only 1, and for the 2 you are putting 2, you will see that this details according to challan details are already there, 1 to 2. So here you are this work is taken care by system itself. You have nothing to see. You just have to put in the details therein. So select. Now here the important is that which rates are important here. When you are filing, similar case is when you are filing your 26Q, 27EQ or 27Q. These 3 are common in every form. By showing you this, I have shown you the 3 other forms also, because very similar. There is nothing in salary only annexure 2 is there. For others only three annexures are there: forms, challans, and annexure. And when you validate that, your form file will be validated, and you can create your file and you can deposit the TDS returns. So here there's 94A, B, C. There are different, and here if you go, it will showcase ki kya hai. Payment to government employees other than union government employees, or whatsoever you want to choose. Yeah, and now 194P came for the banks, for the specified senior citizens. So also that is also there. So you have to choose. Normally I just choose a 92A. So you have to see here the TDS is collected. The challan part they will take care, nothing. Now there are internal employee reference number. I have to put 1, suppose, or whatever number is there. Then you have to put the PAN number of the employee, the name of the employee, date of payment, amount paid, TDS, surcharge, education sales. See, for the salary, I have not explained the provisions to you, but here I must tell you one thing, that salary is a unique. Here the rates are distinct. Here there is nothing. It is not on amount paid basically. In salary, how we calculate the TDS to be deducted? It is basically the total TDS to be deducted during the year divided by 12. So whatever monthly TDS is coming, that you have to deduct every month, and accordingly you have to file your quarterly return, so that the TDS burden to an employee will reduce to not for the year end but monthly, and accordingly government also get the revenue in time. So that is very important. This is what section 192 says. So in that way, the fourth quarter, the first 3 quarters, you have to deduct TDS for each and every employee who are under taxable limit, whose income is under taxable limit. So you have to deduct TDS from them, and you have to put in here total amount, total deposits, and you have to fill. This is very simple actually. And here, if we are putting 0 in TDS, then it is also coming. Suppose I have put amount paid is 50,000 rupees. TDS is deducted 0. And if I have a lower deduction certificate also, he will ask us, and I can, yes, it is a remarks for lower deduction. Yeah, A, B, C. Accordingly, you can choose, and you can file. And suppose in this case, like in form, I cannot able to see. Okay, the above one is not giving me chance to. Okay, here I want to choose form. Okay, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes, if I choose quarter 4 here, then you see there are 2 annexures already came. Annexure 2 salary details and annexure 3. Annexure 3 is for 194P. That's senior citizens basically. So yeah, Ankit.
Sir, we are unable to see your selection of quarter 4 and annexure 2. Like again, I guess it's a technical glitch.
Technical glitch. Okay. And this is what. Okay. Just yeah. So in form, when you select quarter 4, now it is okay now, Ankit?
Yes, it is okay.
Yeah. When you use quarter 4, then these two pop-up will come. Earlier, I think if you mark, we have only 3 form: Challan, Annexure 1, and other services of team. Now, 2 new annexures came in this software. This is salary details and Annexure 3. So we are Annexure 2 and 3 are similar. So I am only discussing Annexure 1. So here I add rows 1. Suppose when I add rows, then there is this salary details I have to give: permanent number, name of the employees, senior citizen, yes or no, dates, then total amount of salary. If we need form 16 for it, whether whatever informations are there, like whether there is a HRA, whether there are housing loss from housing law, house property or not, all these informations you have to put. If you see the details are giving, and accordingly whatever informations are there, you have to put all those informations here in the particular places. And I think it will be better if I showcase you that form. That will be more good for all of us. So let me go to the form. Yeah, okay. Just wait.
Sir, meanwhile, there are some practical questions which I can put you here so that it will be more clear for the students who are attending this webinar. There is one question that if there are multiple number of SSCs, multiple deductees, rather. So is there an Excel utility through which we can put in information to the NSDL RPU?
No. Actually, RPU is a unique software. They are not giving you.
Students, here we at NSDL RPU, we do not have an option of Excel import, and we'll have to fill in manually the entries for each deductee and also for each of the challans. So the option which you are seeking for Excel import is not available in NSDL RPU. So sir, here I'll club another question which was put to me on the chat box. What is the best software for filing TDS returns?
No. That I can't. That I can't. It is this we cannot advertise for any software, and it is always depend on your where you are easy with, in which software you are. If you are using for the income tax or GST one software, I think they also provide software for TDS filing also. So that will be more better, because actually the most important part is database masters. For one client, you are making a database or master in one software. So normally nowadays, what we have seen that we chartered accountants normally uses one or other software for filing different types of returns or different GST returns or tax audits or other information. So we normally when we purchase that software, we need a software which have a combo things. They also provide us GST facilitation. Also, they also provide us income tax facilitations. Also, they also provide us TDS facilitations. Also there, so that in one place, if in one go, I can, if I want to check anything, I can check. And the most important part is that segregation of informations, because see, the TDS return itself is not a separate thing. While you are going for your IT returns or other things. So normally if clients are doing, then also we need whatever return is being filed by them. If we get the FU files from them or the text file, we can import that, and all the informations will come to our software also. We can analyze the same in detail. So there is nothing. There are many softwares which are available in market according to your how you are working. Mainly database is important. आपका database कहाँ है वही important है. In that way you can use your software. So now I have Ankit, I have just demo, I have just put up all the details for this form 24Q. ये दिख रहा है ना अभी?
No, sir. We are still on that screen where you have a pop-up. The information you have shared, click yes to continue. So you have clicked on yes. So I guess again the screen is not working.
ये बहुत गड़बड़ काम है.
Students, my humble submission is you can.
Yeah. Now it is there.
Yes. We can see.
So I just select a form. It's a pre-filled everything. Here you can see that I have put up tax deduction, account number, PAN not available, state government details are there, and all this form has details in relations to. I have put up the 10 details and responsible person name and his all details, PAN number, email ID, every details are being given here, and then I have put up the challan. I have put up 13, and it's I have taken this as a bin. I have put yes. So this is a bin number, 7 digits, 5 and 6 digits, and the 5 digits serial numbers are all are there. So I have put up there. It's a bin actually because I selected state government, so it's a bin, not a sin. So that details are there, and then in annexure 1, I have given this. If you see this, see that BSR, it's automatically it comes. I have nothing to put by me. It is always been there. So there's a PAN number, his name of the employee, date of payments, amount paid or credited. I have put up TDS 0. So that is TDS 0 is there, and all the details are there because. And when you go to annexure 2, this is the important part. So when we go to annexure 2, here if you see, when I am putting PAN number, name of the employees, what are the types? See, there's a women, senior citizen, super senior citizen, others. So normally individuals are coming under others. Then date will be selected, 1/4/21 to 31/3/22, because for quarter 4 we have to select the last year only. So 21/22 is there. So the amount, gross salary. See, this is come because ये form इस तरह से है कि last में आपको you have to fill the form 16 detail. Automatically it will come here. So reported total income from, if you have more than one employer, then because this is also a very tricky part. If there is more than one employer, then for the current employer, whatever income you are generating, that you have to put in the detail of salary. But whatever income you are received from other employer, that you have to put, because reportable total amount of salary received from other employer, that you have to put here. And then total deductions under 16.2, that's professional tax and all this in the 16.3. These details are there. Total deductions IA. These all details from form 16 you have to put, like from the house property, you have a -1 lakh rupees interest from house property that you have put here. And then that whole chapter 6A informations we have to put here. And once you have put everything, then total income tax, total taxable income will come, and accordingly you have to put the taxes details also, income tax surcharge and education cess, all these things. And here you see this is total amount of tax deducted at source by the current employer for the whole year, that you have to put. And if it is from other also, that also you have to put here. So combine both of that, combined will be your total tax deducted at source, and accordingly your shortfall, and that will come. This is the first part. The next part is, now they will ask for whether there are tax deducted at higher rate due to non-furnishing of PAN by deducting. Normally, if you have put up correct PAN, then you have to say no here. And this is very important, house rent allowance. House rent allowance is, because in house rent allowance, they are not asking you the calculation, whole calculation. What they need here, if your house rent, the rent paid, see, because the 3 criteria are there in HRA, and one of them is the rent paid over 10% of salary. So if the rent paid is more than 1 lakh rupees, then the provision is that you must have the PAN number of the landlord, and that you have to put in your TDS return. Why so? If one asks why landlord PAN number is being given, because if you report here, it will also report in his AIS TIS, because this information will go to there also, that yes, you have given you also have a rental income with you. So if you are not when you are filing your own return, if you are not putting your rental income, they will catch you from there, that you have rental income but you are not showcasing that. So Ankit.
So there is a query here in this particular example, that why is TDS shown as 0 TDS in Annexure 2?
Oh, actually, this is an example only, because we have not put up anything in the Challan column, not put up anything in the Annexure 1. So it is just a demo, nothing to do. Actually, this is just a demo, just to showcase you how you are filling the details. If you have a Challan details, then accordingly, because here whatever figure we are choosing, it's a hypothetical figures, just to showcase you how it works. And but the every information from the challan to the deductee to the salary, everything should be matched. If it is not matching, surely you will get a default certificate from the department. These all things are mathematical things. Mathematics, we all know that calculations we have to do upper before filing our TDS return. Those informations are with us. This is only how we file our return theoretically. That for that I am just put up the hypothetical informations here. Okay, so here this is important, that you have to, if more than one landlord is there, then you have to give the PAN number of the landlord, his name. Everything you have to put it. If more than one landlord, then that also you have to put up. Just wait. Yeah. So this is one part, and the second part is whether interest paid to the lender under income from house property. Here earlier I have shown you that we have taken deductions from loss from house property, that interest paid 1 lakh rupees. So I have to put here yes. Then they will ask from whom you have taken the loan. If you are taking the loan from bank, then you have to put in the name, the PAN number of the bank, and the lender's name. Many times we are taking from the cooperative societies also, from others also. So they need, actually basically here also they just want is the other person's incomes is also to be recognized here. So this is the basic reason, actually, the reason behind why these information they ask here. So if more than one lender is there, then you have to put the all up to 4 they are giving here. So उससे ज़्यादा है तो अभी तक तो सॉफ्टवेयर के अंदर में नहीं है. So up to 4 you have to put the name of the lender, and if there is a contributions from the superannuation fund also, that also you have to put. And here now from 335 line number, now this is 59 line number. Here now the salary detail will come, the gross salary, the perquisite from 12BA, profit in lieu from 12BA, total concessions, that come gratuity, pensions, all these informations, house rent allowance, any other exemptions under sections 10, all this information, salary details. पहले हमने बात की थी other incomes, the total income of the person. Here particularly for the salary में क्या क्या चीज है, उसका bifurcations you have to put it from for the current employer. It is not for all, it is only for the current, because this is basically for the 10 number. Just 10 number के against में you are putting up the information, those informations you have to put here. Many times if 12B form is given and everything is clubbed in one employer, then normally what we are doing, we are giving one information. There we are not reporting from the other also many times. So that is also there. So accordingly you have to put the exemptions also, ATC, CCSA, ATCC D1, every other informations which are there. We have to put ATE, ATD, ATG, all those informations you have to put up here, and it will be the total salary, income from total salary. Whatever informations will come, this information will be matched by this figure. It will, and this figure is coming from there. Automatically it comes here. Okay. So Once it has been there, then if you go for the create files, then because it's a bin, I do not need any that thing. Just a minute. Okay, I just have taken only anyone save this, and I have to validate it. If I validate it, yeah, file validation successful, and it will come. So if we say, please submit a view file on pendrive CD and duly signed physical form 27 generated through a view at TIN Facilitation Center, because TIN Facilitation Center are also being managed by NSDL. So they normally say that you should file this to the TIN Facilitation Center. You can also file online also, the returns also. Okay. So now you can, after successful filing of TDS TCS return, you can also check your status under quarterly statement status options given in TIN websites. Okay, so yeah, I have just put up this. This has been always there, and if you see here, 27A is there. I think I can stop sharing this and back up. This is the information. If once successful, then this file is very important for us. And this 27A is also important. These two informations we have to give to the TDS center, and accordingly TDS return to be filed. This is all about how you can file your TDS return. Okay. And in case you are filing your 24Q with SIN, then there you have to download a CIS file, and you have to put Chalan CS in the validations, and then only your return will be validated. This is, I have taken book adjustment, but in case it is non-government organization, then we need a CSI file also, and that also to be put up in the first place, and accordingly we can create our 24Q returns. Okay, so this is all about. I think we have completed our returns part. So now this is the time for questions. So I should stop here.
A big thank you from all of us for taking out your time and presenting your views so lucidly and explaining to us how easy and error-free TDS compliance can be. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, we have some queries on the chat box, and for all those students who are waiting for putting up their queries, it is now the time that you can put up your queries on the chat box. I'll use the FIFO method, and I'll try to put in all those queries which have come on the first-hand basis. So there is one query, sir, like this is November 22, and we take a TAN now. So what happens to those amounts for which TDS should have been deducted in the period April to October 22? Do we need to file the returns? And do we need to file returns for April to October 22 period, despite we had no TAN that time? We have applied and been granted a PAN in November 22. So please.
No. You have to, if you don't have TAN number, then how can you file? If you receive your, because now only you have to put up your this thing. Once you get your TAN number, then only you can pay taxes. But yes, if your deductions is applicable from April onwards, then interest liability is always there. That you have to pay. That mercy you will not get, that because you receive your TAN number now, so you will not get you will get mercy out of it. No.
We say ignorance is a bliss, but here ignorance cannot be a bliss, that you have not applied and been taken a TAN number, so you cannot avoid the process which you should have followed in April to October 22. So you need to do the compliance for that period. But again, your deduction and your payment will be delayed. So all that we have to, for all that, we need to pay interest and penalties whatsoever.
No, penalties is not required because you can take the first section, interest, that tax is not deducted now. So due is in April, but deducted in November. So 1% interest will be there, and accordingly you will file your TDS returns. And
there is another query from another student. He says that if the deductor has deducted TDS but failed to deposit it, then what are the consequences for the employee? Is he eligible to claim full TDS?
No, never. How comes?
So, and what happens, is he supposed to deposit his tax again, despite the fact that his employer might have deducted tax but failed to pay it?
See, one thing one must clear in mind: your TDS return, your income tax return are two separate returns. They are not one returns, though they are attached with each. You can complain. Once you make complaint, income tax department will take strict actions against your employer. They will issue notices to them that why, if you have a Form 16 with you, you don't have any problem. You can put in that. But now what happens that it is really a tough. If you don't have anything, then definitely you will receive a questions from department that TDS is not deducted. You will be harassed. So many government department they are facing these problems. Many officers they are transferring from here and there, and many times what they see that for these 3 months their TDS is not being deducted. So now while filing their income tax return, they come to know that out of 12 month, 9 month TDS is being come to my 26 years. 3 month the tax is not been coming. So they ask us what I have to do. I say, sir, either you make a complaint against your own employer and get it rectified before filing your personal income tax return. If 12th month TDS is not coming in your PAN number, we cannot help you. If there is any tax liability, then in your personal return you have to pay or you make a litigation out of it, and you have to fight for that. And if it is really been deducted, then the concerned employer must have to file his TDS return, and you accordingly you will get your TDS, and that way your litigation will be sorted out. So that is one part, but practically this is really a tough thing, tough query, tough questions, and it will take time.
Similar question from another student, but there is a minor difference in his query. He says that the deductor has deducted tax and also paid it.
Okay,
but he has failed to issue the certificate to the deductee.
Now,
so what happens in that case?
See. I think if deducted, deposited, one more thing, whether return is being filed or not.
Yes, in his query, he has mentioned that he has
deducted and deposited. He mentioned he has not mentioned whether return is being filed or not. Yes. If return is being filed, even if you are not getting any TDS certificate, not a matter, because if you're in your 26 years, you will get the information, and accordingly you can file your income tax return. No problem, not an issue.
Now he is adding a point to his query again. What is the duty of the tax auditor in case where his client is unable to show the issued tax TDS certificates? So again, as sir said, if I can continue with his query. So as he has already said, that 26 AS is a relevant form for us to see what credits we have in our PAN. So even if we don't have the TDS certificate from any of the deductors, but we have it in our 26 AS as a credit, so we can claim that TDS provided that is lawful and you are okay that that TDS credit will stay with you. So you can definitely claim it. There is no problem, and the tax auditor will not find a hiccup in accepting your answer as to claiming that amount of TDS.
See, actually, For a personal return, there's nothing to be actually interlinked with the tax audit. Tax audit basically, if a deductor is not deducting his TDS in a specified rate on the expenditure, then in clause 34, tax auditor will disclose that he has not deducted his tax in time. And now, though, there is that whether you have filed your return in time or not, that also we have to certify. So all these things will be taken care by the tax auditor. If you are not doing, then he will also issue a disclaimer out of it.
Sir, a few more queries. We'll have to quickly wrap it up.
Yeah.
We are about to close it. Sir, there is a query that there is a freelancer who is providing accounting services to a firm. So whether it is 194C or 194J, and we have a case law to support it.
No. See, if you are a freelancer or if you are doing your job in a professional capacity, department will take it as 194J only. There are many case laws. I'm not putting up any case laws here, but it will definitely a 194J, clear cut. 194C never be.
There was another point raised by one student, whether selecting non-corporate deductee and corporate deductee, whether that is a problem. Sir has already told that is not a problem. So I'm putting it here.
Yeah.
One question was income tax demand raised for the entire amount shown in 26 years by the officer because of amount mismatch. So what to do with this?
You have to rectify everything, clarify whatever the legitimate taxes are there for you. If it is a TDS, then that should be clear cut, and it should be clear cutly should come in your 26 years. If it is not, then their litigation is always there.
Then one query was with regard to correction of TDS return, whether it be PAN correction, whether it be deductee correction. Like it was deductee X and it had to be deductee Y. So for all those, we have a traces utility, TDS reconciliation and analysis. TDScpc.com is TDScpc.gov.in is the link where you can go for all sort of TDS corrections.
In the next week, Deepakji will also take some of the corrections returns also, because that way we make it. See, the TDS is a big chapter. In 2 hours, you cannot take everything here. So, what the best possible we can take in this session, we have taken this. In the next session also, we will try to take as much as we can in the given 2 hours time, 2.5 times.
Okay, so with this I believe that we have addressed most of the queries, if not all. But yes, thank you so much for all the students for having had a wonderful session and learning with Vikas sir. I hand over the session to Vidhi Gupta for her words and close the session.
If anyone,
sir?
Yeah.
Thank you, Vikas sir. Thank you, Aniket sir. Good afternoon, students who are present online. Our Honorable Chairman, Sir Shri Sushil Kumar Goyal ji, respected Vice Chairman C.A. Sridhar Mupala ji, and the keynote speaker C.A. Ranjit Agarwal ji, and all the participants. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all dignitaries. On the behalf of Student Skill Enrichment Board, Board of Studies Operation, I extend a warm welcome to the students present online in the webinar. I may express our sincere thanks to C.A. Vikas Jain ji for giving an excellent coverage to the topic and encouraging all of us with your words and enhancing the knowledge in such a lucid way presented to the students. Special thanks to our technical moderator, C.A. Ankit Jalanji, for giving immense support to the webinar to make it successful. Above session for touching upon the important aspects in such a simple manner. I must thank to the volunteer team working hard for every weekend to make this webinar successful day by day. I congratulate all the participants for their active participation. Thank you once again for making it great success. So dear students, stay tuned with us on every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. to enhance your skill sets on the practical topics. Apart from that, I urge all the students to register themselves for the international conference will be conducted on Hyderabad on 2nd and 3rd December 2020. The registration link has been given on the ICI website. Thank you so much.